Okay, so you get out in 2004, and now you're back on the streets. You're in San Jose at this point, right?
Right.
Okay. And at this point, you start moving drugs.
Yeah, well, the way it happened was in '93, I discharged off parole. For the first time in my adult life, I got off parole. So I'm in touch with NF leadership at that time. Operation Black Widow still going on. The leadership was, they had him in I think it's called the McGuire facility over there in Oakland. And, putting them right in the middle of Northern California gave us access at visiting with these guys. So because I was in contact with them, I went back up to Ukiah. I had met a female up there in Ukiah. I got with her. I was just gonna, there was a lot going on at that time. I was just gonna fade out. Go up to Ukiah, get a job, just kind of kick back. Everybody's getting indicted. You got people flipping, other people getting, telling on other people. People were getting caught up. So there was a lot going on. But leadership, they basically directed me to move to Santa Clara County to establish that regiment out there. They told me, we need you to relocate to San Jose to start a regiment out there, because everybody that had been functioning in that regiment got indicted. They all got indicted. So they wanted me to go out there, find the stragglers, get everything back up and running, start generating money again.
Okay, and you're focusing on heroin at this point?
No, at that time, heroin was selling out there, but everybody was buying crystal at that time.
Okay. How much money was being made off of the drug operation at its height during this time?
So in San Jose, you got to remember, by this time, I had functioned throughout the years. At one time in Sonoma County, I was a regimental commander out there. Another time in San Francisco. For a brief time, I went out to Salinas. I was a regimental commander out there. By this time, I'm good at what I'm doing. Leadership takes they notice that I'm good at getting these regiments up and running. That's all I've been doing every time I hit the streets. So within 4 months, I was able to put a crew together. There was 20 guys that were under me at that time. We ended up hooking up with somebody that was part of the Gulf Cartel. We had a shitload of dope. I had the manpower. We basically combined resources. And at the peak of it, we were probably moving around 60 pounds a month between 20 of us. You gotta understand, some of my guys were good at moving 2 or 3 pounds a week. Then you got your half-pound guys, your quarter-pound ounces, all the way down to teeners and 8 balls. Collectively, it adds up. So we were doing a lot. Plus, I had a huge counterfeiting operation going on out there where I was washing $5 bills and making 50s and 100s. And we were involved in all kind of other shit.
Okay. I'd interviewed one of the big counterfeiters, who got busted. And he kind of described the process using inkjet printers. And he kind of described how a printer can't actually print money.
Not no more.
So you'd have to do it. You'd have to do it in layers. You'd have to print like one layer of it, then put it back in, do another layer. And, he even said that he had found that the best paper for counterfeit is Bible paper. You know how every Bible has like some empty sheets like in the beginning for notes, that he would basically just go into Walmart's and just steal Bible paper and then go home and make money out of it.
I basically took a photo of like $100 bill so I could upload the photo to the computer to get around scanning it. And then to get around the printer from not printing it, I would layer the images, separate, just the background color and all the black work and the seals and serial numbers and everything. I'd break it down into multiple layers so I could print one layer at a time. That way the printer would allow me to print them. And yeah, I was looking for like thin paper to sandwich 2 sheets together. And like I said, I knew in that book, I believe he used telephone book paper because it marked with the counterfeit pens properly. But like I could just never get that to work, I guess. I tried that like newsprint stuff. But like it usually has like a darker grayish tint to newsprint. So that's why I believe he was using a press, I think, to color it. And I was just had inkjet printers to work with at the time. So I was looking for thin paper. I come across Bible paper, which ended up being like perfect in every way. So like real money glows in a black light, a dull purple, which like all other papers are bleached in the manufacturing process. So it like glows a bright blue, like a fluorescent blue. So I found out that most or some forms of Bible paper glow that dull purple just like money. And it's thin enough to sandwich two sheets together and opaque enough to where I could print a strip and a watermark on the back of one side, sandwich them together, and you couldn't see the strip and watermark through the face of the bill, but you could see it if I held it up to the light, you know what I mean? So basically Bible paper just worked perfectly for everything I needed it to. I started basically just with like the Bibles lying around my house kind of thing to test the stuff out. And you know, I found out how well it worked. So as I was doing it, I progressively started printing more and more, you know what I mean? So at first it was just kind of, you know, going into bookstores, opening up a Bible. There's normally 2, 3, 4. Some Bibles have 20 or 40 blank pages in the back because it'll say like notes at the top, so you can study Bibles and stuff. So yeah, I just go into certain bookstores and kind of just rip out the blank pages, and you know what I'm saying, do it that way.
How were you guys counterfeiting?
At that time, they didn't start putting, I know what you're talking about. There's like, you can't see it with the naked eye, but they started putting these things on the bills where you couldn't print them. You would put it in the printer and it would only print like half the bill and would stop. So it was something that they did to these. We were using Lexmark printers, and we make a template. You know, we washed the bills first, obviously, using that degreaser, that purple. It comes in a purple bottle. Then, you know, we have just the paper. Once all the ink comes off, and then we make a template, put the bills on there. It's a meticulous process, but you flip the bill, do the front, then you got to flip it over, do the back. But it works. It used to pass the pen test. I would go in stores and they would take because it's on real paper. It's on money. It's money. So at that time, they didn't have a lot of the things that they did now to stop all that. It's a little bit harder now.